Have you ever considered that the key to reclaiming your strength, stability, and independence after the age of 65 might not be found in an expensive, elegantly packaged supplement or a grueling, intimidating new workout plan, but is instead hiding in plain sight, waiting patiently for you in the dairy aisle of your local grocery store, specifically within your refrigerator? For decades, a significant portion of the nutritional and medical establishment, influenced by incomplete and often misinterpreted data, has unfairly villainized one of our oldest and most satisfying foods: cheese. It has been relentlessly labeled as too fatty, a primary contributor to high cholesterol, excessively salty, and ultimately relegated to the category of a guilty pleasure, a decadent indulgence to be avoided at all costs, especially as we age. But what if this widespread condemnation was not just an oversimplification, but a profound and detrimental misunderstanding? What if I were to present to you a compelling body of evidence, meticulously gathered over years of clinical practice and a deep dive into nutritional science, that a select few varieties of cheese are, in fact, extraordinarily powerful, entirely natural tools that can actively and effectively help you rebuild aging muscle? This is not a fanciful theory or wishful thinking. It is a closely guarded secret, a paradigm-shifting truth that esteemed doctors, cutting-edge gerontology researchers, and sports nutritionists are only now beginning to share more widely beyond the confines of academic journals and specialized conferences. You are standing on the precipice of a discovery, a simple, delicious, and rigorously scientifically backed strategy to combat the silent, insidious epidemic of age-related muscle loss, known clinically as sarcopenia, that quietly robs millions of older adults of their vitality, their confidence, and their precious independence. This journey is about far more than just adding a new food to your diet. It's about unlocking a forgotten blueprint for aging with power, grace, and an unshakable sense of self-reliance. I implore you to pay close, undivided attention to the information that follows, because missing out on this could very well mean missing your chance to stay strong on your feet, steady in your balance, and fiercely independent for many more years, perhaps even decades, longer than you ever thought possible. My name is Dr. Thomas Reed, and after dedicating nearly 30 years of my professional life to the field of geriatric rehabilitation, focusing on helping older adults restore the strength, mobility, and functional capacity they thought was lost forever, I have stumbled upon a surprising and profoundly transformative truth. My career began with the conventional wisdom: prescribe gentle exercises, recommend lean proteins like chicken and fish, and caution against the supposed dietary evils of saturated fat and sodium, with cheese often being exhibit A. Yet, I was consistently frustrated. My patients would follow my advice, but their progress was agonizingly slow, and the insidious creep of frailty often continued its march. It was through a combination of observing a handful of my most robust and resilient patients, those who defied the odds, and a subsequent obsessive dive into the molecular science of protein metabolism that the pieces began to click into place. The surprising common denominator among these exceptionally strong individuals was often a diet that nonchalantly included significant amounts of specific cheeses. This led me to a conclusion that initially seemed counterintuitive but is now supported by a wealth of scientific data. The right kind of cheese isn't merely safe for older adults. It can be one of the most effective, accessible, and enjoyable foods for preserving, and in many cases, actively rebuilding precious muscle mass after the age of 65. The pervasive condition known as sarcopenia, that quiet thief of muscle that affects 1 in 3 adults over the age of 50, and more than half of those over 80, is not an inevitable, non-negotiable sentence of decline. Today, I will peel back the layers of myth and misinformation and reveal how 3 common, delicious, and widely available cheeses can become your greatest and most powerful allies in this fight, empowering you to live a life defined not by fragility and fear, but by strength, capability, and confidence. I urge you to get a pen and paper, to silence the distractions around you, because the information I am about to share has the genuine potential to fundamentally and permanently change the way you approach your health, your diet, and your future. Let's begin our journey with a cheese that might trigger a powerful wave of nostalgia, perhaps conjuring images of the diet fads and health-conscious lunch plates of the 1980s, cottage cheese. It is absolutely essential that you push aside any lingering memories of bland, watery, or uninspired health food and re-examine this humble dairy product for what it truly is in the context of modern nutritional science. One of the single most potent, efficient, and cost-effective muscle-building foods available on the planet, especially for the unique physiological needs of the mature body. What makes cottage cheese so exceptionally special is not just one single factor, but its incredible, almost perfectly designed nutritional profile. A single, modest half-cup serving of low-fat cottage cheese delivers a remarkable 14 grams of high-quality, complete protein for a mere 81 calories. To truly grasp the significance of this ratio, consider that nearly 70% of the calories in a serving of low-fat cottage cheese are derived directly from pure, unadulterated protein. This is a staggering figure. When you compare this to a standard 1-ounce slice of regular cheddar cheese, where only about 24% of the calories come from protein, with the rest coming primarily from fat, you begin to understand that cottage cheese operates in an entirely different, superior league when the goal is lean muscle synthesis. It provides the essential building blocks for muscle tissue with minimal extraneous caloric baggage, making it a precision tool for sculpting a stronger physique without contributing to unwanted weight gain. This is not just a food, it is a highly efficient protein delivery system. The undeniable magic of cottage cheese, however, extends far beyond the sheer quantity of its protein content. It is the specific quality and composition of that protein that truly sets it apart as a gerontological superstar. Within every half-cup serving, you will find over a gram of a critically important essential amino acid called leucine. It is impossible to overstate the importance of leucine for an aging body. You can think of leucine as the master ignition key for your body's entire muscle-building engine, a system clinically referred to as muscle protein synthesis. As we age, a phenomenon known as anabolic resistance sets in, meaning our muscles become more stubborn and less responsive to the normal growth signals from food and exercise. It takes a stronger, more specific signal to get their attention. Leucine is that powerful, specific messenger. It is the amino acid that essentially shouts through the biological noise of aging and commands your muscle cells to wake up and begin the vital process of repair, rebuilding, and growth. An impressive body of research from leading institutions in geriatric medicine indicates that older adults require a threshold dose of approximately 3 grams of leucine at each main meal to effectively overcome this anabolic resistance and trigger a robust muscle-building response. A simple, unassuming serving of cottage cheese gets you a full third of the way to that crucial, non-negotiable threshold. Furthermore, the protein in cottage cheese is predominantly composed of casein, a type of protein we classify as slow-release. This means it forms a gel-like substance in the stomach, leading to a steady, gradual drip feed of amino acids into your bloodstream over an incredible 6 to 8 hours. It's the nutritional equivalent of having a time-release muscle-protecting capsule working for you all day, or even more importantly, all night. Consuming cottage cheese before bed can be a particularly powerful strategy, as it helps to prevent the catabolic or muscle breakdown state that naturally occurs while you sleep, protecting your hard-earned gains. The research supporting this is overwhelmingly impressive, with large-scale studies involving nearly 1,000 elderly participants demonstrating that those who consistently included casein-rich foods like cottage cheese in their diet gained significant muscle mass, improved their gait speed, and increased their overall strength over periods of several months. Our second muscle-building champion is a cheese you most likely associate with a finishing flourish, a delicate dusting grated over a heaping plate of pasta or a hearty bowl of minestrone soup. Parmesan. However, To relegate authentic Parmigiano Reggiano to the status of a mere condiment or garnish is to profoundly overlook one of the most nutrient-dense, bioavailable, and nutritionally sophisticated foods on the planet. This hard, granular, intensely flavorful aged cheese is a true marvel of natural concentration, a testament to the power of time and tradition. A tiny, seemingly insignificant 1-ounce serving, roughly the size of your thumb from the tip to the first knuckle, packs an absolutely astonishing 10 grams of complete protein, placing it firmly among the most protein-rich of all cheeses by weight. For older adults who often contend with smaller appetites, a condition known as geriatric anorexia, or find themselves eating smaller portions throughout the day, this incredible density is an invaluable asset. It allows you to deliver a significant dose of high-quality protein to your system without needing to consume a large volume of food, which can often feel overwhelming or lead to uncomfortable fullness. This makes it an exceptionally efficient tool for meeting your daily protein targets with ease and pleasure, as its rich, savory, umami flavor can also act as an appetite stimulant, making all of your food taste better. The true, almost alchemical secret of Parmesan, however, lies not just in its density, but in its long and patient aging process, a meticulous craft honed over centuries in the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy. For a cheese to earn the legally protected title of Parmigiano Reggiano, it must be aged for a minimum of 12 months, with many of the finest wheels left to mature for 24, 36, or even 48 months. During this extended period of maturation, a complex and wonderful natural enzymatic process occurs that works as a form of biological predigestion. The long, complex protein chains, casein, within the cheese are systematically broken down by the cheese's own enzymes into smaller, more easily absorbed components called peptides and free amino acids. This process, known as proteolysis, is profoundly important for the aging digestive system, which often does not operate with the same high-octane efficiency it once did. Many of my older patients report feeling bloated, gassy, or generally uncomfortable after consuming other protein-rich foods, but they consistently find that genuine Parmesan is incredibly gentle and easy to digest, causing none of these issues. In fact, after its extensive aging process, authentic Parmesan contains virtually zero lactose, as the bacteria have converted it all into lactic acid. This means that even individuals with moderate to severe lactose intolerance can typically enjoy its robust flavor and nutritional benefits without any adverse effects. Beyond its incredible protein profile, Parmesan is a veritable calcium powerhouse. A single 1-ounce serving provides over 330 milligrams of highly bioavailable calcium, which is more than a quarter of the recommended daily intake for older adults. While we are all intimately familiar with calcium's crucial role in maintaining bone density and preventing osteoporosis, it is equally vital for proper muscle function. Every single contraction your muscles make, from the rapid blinking of your eyes to the powerful act of climbing a flight of stairs, requires a precise flood of calcium ions to happen correctly. Recent, cutting-edge research has uncovered a fascinating and direct link. Older adults with insufficient dietary calcium intake have a significantly and demonstrably higher risk of developing sarcopenia. Therefore, when you generously grate Parmesan over your meal, you are not just providing the fundamental protein building blocks for bigger, stronger muscles, you are also supplying the essential mineral that acts as the spark plug, allowing those muscles to fire on all cylinders with power and precision. Our third and final muscle-building hero in this dairy triumvirate is the creamy, luscious, and often underestimated ricotta cheese. This delightful cheese holds a unique secret, a special characteristic that makes it a particularly strategic and fast-acting tool for seniors looking to optimize their muscle health. Ricotta, whose name literally translates to recooked, is traditionally made from whey, which is the watery, protein-rich liquid that is left over after the casein has been separated to make other cheeses like mozzarella or the aforementioned Parmesan. For centuries, this byproduct was often discarded, But we now understand that it is, in fact, a nutritional treasure, and it gives ricotta an incredible and distinct advantage over its cheesy brethren: unparalleled speed of absorption. While most cheeses, including cottage cheese and Parmesan, are rich in the slow-digesting casein protein, ricotta contains a significant and potent amount of whey protein. Whey protein is, without a doubt, the fastest-absorbing protein you can possibly consume. Your body can digest and deliver the amino acids from whey protein directly to your hungry muscle tissues within an astonishingly short window of 30 to 60 minutes after you eat it, a rate that other protein sources simply cannot match. This incredible speed of delivery is an absolute game changer for older adults, particularly in the context of physical activity. Imagine you have just returned from a brisk walk around the block, finished some light gardening in the backyard, or completed a simple session of chair exercises I will describe later. In that moment, your muscles are primed, activated, and desperately ready for repair nutrients. This period, often called the anabolic window, is a critical window of opportunity for muscle growth. When you consume a serving of ricotta during this time, its fast-acting whey proteins function like a nutritional rapid response team, a SWAT team of amino acids that creates a powerful surge, delivering essential building blocks directly to your muscles, precisely when they are most receptive and able to use them for repair and synthesis. A half cup of whole milk ricotta offers a solid 14 grams of protein, but more importantly, it is especially rich in what are known as branched-chain amino acids, or BCAAs. These special amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine, have what amounts to a VIP pass in your body. They are unique in that they can bypass processing in the liver and go straight to your muscle tissue to get to work on initiating repair and halting muscle breakdown. Furthermore, for the many older adults who struggle with dental issues, dentures, or difficulty swallowing, dysphagia, ricotta's incredibly smooth, soft, and creamy texture is a veritable godsend, requiring minimal chewing while still delivering maximum nutrition. It is also naturally much lower in sodium compared to most other cheeses, making it a heart-healthy and blood pressure-friendly choice. The scientific evidence is compelling. In one remarkable study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, elderly participants who consumed about 3/4 of a cup of whey-rich ricotta cheese daily not only gained significant lean muscle mass, but also demonstrably improved their balance, walking speed, and overall physical performance in just 90 days. Now that you are armed with the knowledge of which specific cheeses to choose, we must discuss the equally, if not more, important factor of timing. When you eat these powerful protein-rich foods can dramatically and profoundly influence how effectively your body utilizes them for the purpose of muscle building. For decades, cultural norms and ingrained habits have conditioned most of us in the Western world to believe that dinner should be our largest and most protein-heavy meal of the day. We often start with a light, carbohydrate-focused breakfast, have a moderate lunch, and then load up in the evening. However, when the primary goal is combating age-related sarcopenia after the age of 65, modern geriatric and nutritional research reveals that this pattern is fundamentally flawed. In fact, breakfast is, without any question, your single most crucial and impactful muscle-building opportunity of the entire day. After sleeping for an average of 8 to 10 hours, your body is in a prolonged fasted state. During this time, to maintain essential bodily functions, your system begins to break down its own muscle tissue for energy in a process called gluconeogenesis. Your first meal of the day is your one chance to slam the brakes on this destructive catabolic process and powerfully flip the metabolic switch from muscle breakdown to muscle building. The science on this subject is crystal clear and unequivocal. Multiple studies have shown that older adults who consume an adequate bolus of protein, defined as 25 to 30 grams, at their breakfast meal are able to stimulate and maintain muscle protein synthesis at a significantly higher rate throughout the entire day compared to those who eat a typical low-protein breakfast of toast with jam, oatmeal, or a bowl of cereal. This is not a minor difference. It is a fundamental metabolic advantage. Yet, staggering data shows that the average person over the age of 65 consumes only about 8 to 11 grams of protein in the morning, an amount that is woefully insufficient to overcome the natural anabolic resistance of aging muscles and properly wake up that all-important muscle-building engine. This is precisely where our strategically chosen cheeses become such invaluable tools. A simple, delicious, and satisfying breakfast consisting of a cup of low-fat cottage cheese mixed with a handful of berries and seeds, perhaps topped with a generous sprinkle of grated Parmesan for flavor and an extra protein kick, can easily provide over 30 grams of high-quality protein and a potent dose of the key amino acid leucine. This single meal effectively signals to your body that the overnight fast is over and it is time to build, not burn, your precious muscle tissue. Furthermore, it is absolutely vital to think about distributing your protein intake evenly throughout the day. Instead of the common light, heavy pattern of eating, you should actively aim for that 25-30 gram target of protein at each of your main meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Your body cannot store excess protein for later use in the same way it stores fat or carbohydrates. It can only utilize a certain amount for muscle synthesis at any given time. Spreading your intake out is like watering a garden consistently with a sprinkler throughout the day, rather than dumping a single massive bucket on it all at once and hoping for the best. Consistent, evenly spaced protein intake ensures your muscles have a constant supply of the raw materials they need all day long. One of the most frequent and most important questions my patients ask me when I introduce this concept is about portion control. They understand the what and the why, but they need clarity on the how much. How much cheese is the right amount? Is it possible to have too much of a good thing? The goal, to be clear, is not to get all of your daily protein from cheese, but rather to use these specific cheeses as strategic, powerful, and delicious tools to help you reach your overall daily protein needs more easily and effectively. A well-established and evidence-based rule of thumb for healthy adults over the age of 65 who are looking to preserve or build muscle mass is to aim for a daily protein intake of 1.00 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. For many, this is significantly higher than what they are currently consuming. To find your personal target, the calculation is simple. Take your weight in pounds and divide it by 2.2 to get your weight in kilograms. Then, multiply that number by 1.2 to find the upper end of your recommended daily protein goal. For example, a 150-pound person would convert to approximately 68 kilograms. Multiplying 68 by 1.2 gives a daily protein target of roughly 82 grams. A 180-pound person would aim for about 98 grams of protein per day. This number can seem daunting at first, but with our cheese strategy, it becomes far more manageable. To make a real, tangible impact on your muscle mass and strength, I recommend incorporating 2 to 3 dedicated servings of our muscle-building cheeses into your daily routine, with each of those servings providing between 10 and 15 grams of high-quality protein. This is a practical and sustainable approach. This might look something like this. A half cup of cottage cheese mixed into your scrambled eggs or with fruit at breakfast, providing about 14 grams of protein. A 1-ounce serving of Parmesan grated generously over your lunchtime soup or salad, adding another 10 grams. And a third of a cup of ricotta cheese mixed into your evening pasta sauce or enjoyed as a dessert with a drizzle of honey, adding another 9-10 grams. This simple combination alone provides approximately 33 to 34 grams of premium, highly bioavailable protein, getting you a significant portion of the way, often almost halfway, to your daily goal before you have even factored in the protein from your main sources like chicken, fish, beans, or lentils. While you might initially be concerned about the calories and fat content, it is crucial to reframe your thinking. Consistency in meeting your protein needs is far more important for combating sarcopenia than minor caloric restriction. The well-designed clinical studies that demonstrated the most dramatic and impressive results in muscle gain and functional improvement involved participants eating these protein-rich dairy foods every single day for at least 60 to 90 consecutive days. Think of it not as an indulgence, but as a daily investment in your future mobility, your stability, and your independence. The few hundred extra calories you consume from these nutrient-dense foods are not empty. They are actively fueling the preservation and growth of the very muscle tissue that will allow you to climb stairs without breathlessness, carry your own groceries from the car, and get up from a low chair with ease and confidence for years to come. While these three remarkable cheeses are incredibly effective on their own as a purely nutritional intervention, you can amplify their muscle-building benefits exponentially by pairing them with the right kind of simple, accessible movement. When you combine targeted nutrition with targeted exercise, you create what scientists refer to as a powerful synergistic effect, where the combination of the two produces results that are far greater than the sum of their individual parts. The most effective, scientifically proven type of exercise for building and maintaining muscle at any age is resistance training. Now, before your mind conjures images of sweaty, intimidating gyms filled with clanging weights and complex machinery, let me reassure you. For an older adult, resistance training does not require a gym membership or any special equipment. It can be as simple and as functional as standing up from a sturdy chair and sitting back down, very slowly and with control, for 10 repetitions. It can be performing push-ups against a kitchen wall. It can involve using light, inexpensive elastic bands to provide resistance for arm and leg movements. The key is to challenge your muscles to work against a force that is slightly greater than what they are used to in their daily, sedentary routine. This gentle stress is the signal that tells them they need to adapt and become stronger. When you perform these simple movements and then consume a protein-rich food source, like a serving of cottage cheese, a piece of Parmesan, or a bowl of ricotta, within the 2-hour window following your activity, something truly magical happens at the cellular level. The exercise acts like an alarm clock, waking up your muscle cells and dramatically increasing their sensitivity to the amino acids circulating in your blood. The protein you eat then provides the raw materials that flood into these newly receptive muscle cells, initiating a powerful wave of repair and growth. This powerful 1-2 punch of movement followed by protein has been shown in clinical trials to restore a youthful muscle-building response, even in frail adults well into their 80s and 90s. You do not need to engage in this demanding activity every single day to reap the rewards. Performing some form of light resistance training just 2 or 3 times per week on non-consecutive days to allow for recovery is more than enough to see profound and life-changing benefits, provided your diet is consistently rich in high-quality protein from sources like our 3 cheeses. Even integrating more vigorous purpose into your daily activities, consciously taking the stairs instead of the elevator, carrying your grocery bags instead of using a cart for the last stretch, or engaging in active gardening that involves digging and lifting, provides the kind of gentle, consistent resistance that primes your muscles for growth. The key is to be mindful. Stay active in your daily life in whatever way you can, and then consciously and deliberately fuel your body with these powerful protein-packed cheeses immediately afterward to maximize the rebuilding process. As with any significant dietary change, it is always wise and responsible to be mindful of your individual health circumstances and to approach this new strategy with thoughtful consideration. The great news is that these 3 specific cheeses, cottage cheese, Parmesan, and ricotta, are remarkably well tolerated by the vast majority of people. For the many individuals who struggle with lactose intolerance, which can sometimes worsen with age, aged Parmesan is a perfect choice as it is naturally lactose-free due to its long fermentation process. While cottage cheese and ricotta do contain some lactose, the amounts are far less than in a glass of milk, and the presence of active cultures in many cottage cheese brands can aid digestion, making them manageable for many. If you are actively managing high blood pressure or have been advised to follow a low-sodium diet, it is important to be a savvy consumer. Ricotta is a naturally low-sodium cheese, making it an excellent default option. When shopping for cottage cheese, make a point to look for brands that are specifically labeled low sodium or no salt added. High-quality, long-aged Parmesan is intensely flavorful, so a little goes a long way, but it should be used more sparingly than the other two if sodium is a primary concern. Regarding the long-standing fears about saturated fat and cholesterol, a large body of modern, large-scale epidemiological studies has been incredibly reassuring, showing that the consumption of full-fat dairy, and cheese in particular, within the context of a balanced and varied diet, does not significantly increase the risk of cardiovascular disease for most people. The unique food matrix of cheese seems to alter how its fats are absorbed and metabolized. The key, as with all things, remains moderation and appropriate portion control. For anyone on blood-thinning medication like warfarin, Coumadin, it is important to know that cheese contains vitamin K, which can affect the medication's efficacy. The advice here is not elimination, but consistency. Maintaining a relatively consistent intake of cheese and other vitamin K-rich foods from day to day will allow your doctor to adjust your dosage correctly and keep you stable. And finally, and this is a critical point, if you have any pre-existing kidney conditions or have been diagnosed with chronic kidney disease, it is absolutely essential that you speak with your doctor or a registered dietitian before making any significant increases in your daily protein intake. Knowledge without action is merely trivia. It is interesting information that occupies space in your mind, but does nothing to change your life. The true, transformative power of what you have just learned lies in what you choose to do with this information, starting not next week or next month, but today. The gradual erosion of muscle mass, strength, and function is not an inevitable fate of aging that you must passively accept. Sarcopenia is a medical condition, and like many conditions, it can be managed, fought, and in many cases, even reversed. With the humble but mighty cottage cheese, the concentrated and powerful Parmesan, and the fast-acting and creamy ricotta as your trusted allies, you now possess a simple, delicious, affordable, and scientifically proven strategy to rebuild your body from the inside out, one satisfying meal at a time. I urge you, with all the sincerity I can muster, to commit to this plan for the next 90 days. Treat it as a personal experiment and witness the transformation for yourself. Start with a single, simple step. On your next trip to the grocery store, add these 3 specific cheeses to your shopping list. Plan your meals for tomorrow with the conscious intention of ensuring you get a protein-rich breakfast that includes one of them. Find 10 minutes in your afternoon to incorporate a few moments of simple movement, like those chair stands or wall push-ups, a few times a week. The question is no longer what you need to do to get stronger, but whether you will make the choice to do it. Will you grate that fresh, savory,